Pasadena Public Library is a place where imagination meets inspiration, in the pages of the books that line our shelves, and in the hearts and minds of every person who enters our doors or visits us virtually, serving as a free and open place to commune, connect, learn, read, and belong. Pasadena Public Library stands as a pillar of trusted information for our community. But you may not know, our story began even before Pasadena became an incorporated city. In 1882, Abbott Kinney and others founded the Pasadena Library and Village Improvement Society to raise funds for the establishment of a library in the area. Through their efforts, the Village Improvement Society was able to raise enough money to open the first library in Pasadena on February 26, 1884. A small room located on the first floor of a two-story schoolhouse on the south side of Colorado Street, between Raymond Street and the Santa Fe Railroad tracks. Born from a shared belief that a thriving community relies upon the strength of the public library, our library grew from a single floor to a multi-building system we have today. Under the guidance and leadership of various city librarians and directors, the library expanded its services and collections by adding branches throughout the city, with 3 branches being added after Nellie Russ became the city librarian in 1898, and 6 more after 1945, when Doris Holt proposed that no one should be farther than 1 mile from a library. A future-thinking dream that resulted in the wonderful system we have today. Each of our branch libraries has a rich history, offering a glimpse back into the trailblazing vision of the people who pioneered them.
This branch actually has a really interesting history because it's the oldest branch in the system, older than even our big central library. But originally, the library branch wasn't here. It was actually built as the East Side branch in a building on Holliston on the 2nd floor, and I believe that was in 1910. It only held about 700 books, but a rainstorm kind of destroyed the roof in about 1922, so 1924, a bond was passed. They had got the money and funds to build this building in 1925, and here we stand.
This branch actually started in 1905. There was a push for setting up a library reading room as a way of combating the saloons that were cropping up in the area. It was the Women's Christian Temperance Union. They set up a reading room, and that became Pasadena's first branch, which was considered the North Branch. It moved to different locations over the next few decades, and then really became so heavily used and so beloved by the community that they needed an actual building. This location, which used to be the location of a hotel called the Painter Hotel, burned down in 1912, and the city acquired the land and was able to build this beautiful library in 1930 in the shape of this Greek cross.
In 1922, we actually had our first Lamanda Park Library over in the Emerson School, and Miss Grace ran it, but she soon found that it was too small for her, so she eventually talked them into moving the Boys and Girls Library from Memorial Park over here, and it's over on Morningside, and it faced Morningside. So then that became too small too for all the people that came here to use the library. So in 1964, they passed a bond issue. And in the bond issue was lots of money for different things in Pasadena, and one of them was for a library. And so in 1967, Lamanda Park Library opened. And we are now here for 55 years serving our community. And we serve a community from infants clear to seniors.
From our humble beginnings to the monumental gift of the architectural gem that is Central Library, designed by Myron Hunt and H.C. Chambers and positioned in the heart of the city's civic center, to the expansion into branch services, the Pasadena Library has served our patrons through the growth of our city, life-changing scientific discoveries, the invention of the automobile, the introduction, growth, decline, and resurgence of vinyl records, and 2 pandemics. Today, we serve our community with a collection of over 2 million print, digital, and practical items, including seeds, Wi-Fi hotspots, educational kits, and of course, books. In addition to a robust collection of reading materials, our staff work tirelessly to offer unique services to fit the diverse needs of our community. Leading the way as the hub of the Pasadena Public Library system is Central Library. From hosting author panels, cultural events, and recitals, to housing over 300,000 items and an extensive archival collection, Central Library is a gathering place for the community, a definitive source for Pasadena history, and a cultural touchstone for the city of Pasadena. Central Library's archival materials offer any member of the public a chance to research the past through self-guided serendipity or with the aid of highly trained professionals, a service that has been interrupted by Central Library's closure for a required seismic retrofit and repair. As we await the reopening of Central Library, our branch libraries continue to diligently supply services to the community. Unfortunately, we cannot sustain our past numbers of programs, services, or visitors without Central Library. Until we are able to reopen our most important building and welcome the community to Central Library again, our branch libraries will take on the challenge of hosting some of those programs and services previously offered at Central Library.
Jefferson Branch Library is a temporary library while Central Library is closed. Our services and programs are mostly developed for children and teens, but also the people who serve children and teens. So that includes educators and parents and other organizations that may serve youth. We try to kind of bring some of the services that were a little more unique to Central Library, since this location houses the Youth Services Division. So one of the newer, I'd say newer spaces that we have here is the teen room. And even though we had a teen central at Central Library, it didn't act as an after-school space. So one of the big changes that we came here was that this room is staffed. We have a parent social that happens monthly, and that is with the health department, where parents can come in to kind of talk with each other. They can also bring their children.
What makes Hastings Branch Library special and unique is our beautiful butterfly garden that's outside. It is absolutely amazing. The kids love it. I've done so many programs which included that. We have the iBook Club, and this book club has been going for 5-6 years. This is where individuals, some of them aren't able to speak, and they use special devices to communicate with each other. The Hastings Branch Library has adapted to the closing of Central by taking on the Law Library collection. And that database that we have is accessible here. And so individuals can come in here with their laptops and go and access that website. We'll also have someone here from the Law Library to help them navigate through the website and also answer questions that they may have.
We have an immigration and a citizenship center over here. We have author programs, event programs, we have Zumba, we have book discussion groups. So it's a very fun, busy library.
We have a decorative arts collection, which is right behind me here. It contains books on art, architecture, fashion, and design. And that's a collection that was started by the community.
We have an expansive culinary collection that the public checks out like you would not believe. We are right across from a high school and next to a middle school, so we do get a lot of after-school activity. And I think another interesting and unique aspect of our branch is that we know a lot of our patrons by name.
So the thing that makes this branch really unique is our garden collection. We also have the beautiful patio that goes with it, and the seed library, which we have programs to kind of promote the seed library, but also have gardening classes, hands-on things, projects. It's a lot of fun here. And then we also have our Asian languages collection, which is really popular in this neighborhood.
We at the San Rafael Branch Library are very proud of our programs, specifically the Art a la carte and the Spanish conversation class. Both of these classes cater to our 50 years and above patrons. In a way, they're able to express themselves in the art that they make, and we currently have them in display at the library.
We're the smallest branch in the library system, small but mighty. We have the early childhood learning hub here. We have play and learn, and that's when toddlers come in, and we have a lot of educational sensory toys, and they get used to the surrounding in the library and the staff, and then they slowly transition into preschool story time. They start coming for our crafts and activities and different programs, and the whole reason is to have them become lifelong readers and library patrons.
This branch just tries to do a lot of programs to support the kids and families in this community. We are one of the libraries that is a hub in the Growing Together Pasadena network, which is all about encouraging access to services for families with children ages 0 to 5. One of the ways that we serve those families is through several different story times. We have story time in English on Thursday mornings and story time in Spanish on Wednesday afternoons. And at those story times, you know, it's amazing. This place just fills with music and dancing and kids playing instruments and exploring things, and everybody, you know, really sharing in a lot of stories and literacy and vocabulary.
Personally, I think our branch is so special because of our staff. Everybody is just so creative and passionate, and they're just such a wonderful team, and it really makes the branch feel like a home.
From the visionary dream that formed our branches to the invaluable community support that shapes our system, we owe the strength of our present to the people of our past, and we carry that knowledge into the future. People have always been the heart of Pasadena Public Library. Our strength as a library comes from the passion and commitment of our staff, past and present, a devoted and talented team that reflect the dedication of our past, craft the library we are today, and enable the library we aspire to be in the future.
It's just magical. When you come in here, it's like an even ground.
It is almost like the place you go when you feel a little lost. There's always something for everyone, and it's a place for everyone to kind of discover where their passions are. It's not just about living, it's about thriving, really. So I think for me, that's a passion of mine, and that's why I work with children as well, to kind of draw out those interests, and that's why I'm drawn to the library.
I grew up in the libraries, actually. I remember sitting in the big central library in the corner in the fairy tale section, just burning through the books there. You know, growing up, you know, I moved from that section, but I'm still enjoying all the services the library has to offer, all the programs, not just our branches, but our sister branches as well. I'm always amazed at the creativity that people put into it, and I'm a patron of the library as well.
I got into this field because of a love of literature, but once I got in this field, once I started working in public libraries, what really has sustained me and pushed me and challenged me is serving people, serving all kinds of people with all kinds of information needs.
I really come in here because I love the community, and I love what I do. And at this point, I feel like this was the profession for me.
Talking to people, getting to know them, seeing kids grow up from your story time when they were babies, and now you see them in high school, and boy, does that make you feel old. But it also is really interesting and neat to see the progression and see them come back. You don't think of the impact you have on people until they come back and they tell you that.
I came from Armenia to the United States. I was 8 years old, and I had never seen a library. I had never stepped a foot inside of a library until I was 9 years old. So when I was 9, I actually went to the Santa Catalina Public Library, got my very first library card, and I was so excited that I checked out the limit, which was 25 books. And now, of course, it's 100. I'm glad it wasn't 100 back then, because I did get some late fees.
At libraries, they not only get connected and access to all kinds of resources, but they get connected with all kinds of people.
We are forever shaped by the lives affected by our services and aspire to be the spark of inspiration that emboldens future lifelong learners to limitless discovery. Pasadena Public Library continues to grow with and be inspired by our community. Throughout the past, in the present, and into the future.
We've always been about books And I think that will never go away because boy, are people still reading actual books. People read ebooks, and that's very popular as well. But it is still popular even amongst the children, the teenagers, and the older adults, and everyone in between. So I don't think that will ever go away, and I'm not scared of that at all. People always ask me, aren't you afraid you're going to... And I said, no, absolutely not. I think we've just evolved with the times as community centers. We provide story times, program for kids, volunteer opportunities. We have flu clinics here. We're having one in a couple of weeks. I think that's just what makes us still relevant and important. We're never going to go away. We have the support, especially here in Pasadena, which I'm very lucky and grateful to be here because we have the support of the community.
Libraries, I don't think will be going anywhere anytime soon. We find time and time again that people really love having in-hand print materials. But besides that, I don't think people realize how much libraries are growing with them. So like you said, tech, I mean, we are always renting out and getting more programs to do with tech. We have hotspots, we have laptops, we have DVDs, streaming services and media that we offer. So I think honestly, the library is one of the few places where we don't try to sell you anything. Everything is free, and if anything, we're asking the community, what can we do for you? So what can we provide to you? What can you use from us? And honestly, what can you learn at our expense?
Our 140th anniversary marks 14 decades of shaping the past and sculpting the present. As we celebrate this momentous occasion, we are offered the opportunity to learn from our past as we build toward a brighter future. And with the much anticipated reopening of Central Library leading our way through the next 140 years of discovery, connection, and free access to information for all.
One of the things that we are really looking at going into the future is the way that the community is aging and how many more people are going to be retired, maybe needing to be in assisted living or skilled nursing. And we're trying to step up our outreach to the over 60 group of the community.
I think I envision the San Rafael branch as being able to answer to the needs of our community. Having the school nearby allows us to have more class visits for the school, and this will be able to allow us to be connected to the community.
Partnering with more local businesses and organizations, bringing them in to do programming, and just making the library the heart of the community.
The future thinkers, innovators, and trailblazers of Pasadena Public Library's past started a 140-year mission of providing our community with a service so essential that throughout the years of immense change, our library has persisted. We stand here today stronger than ever and ready to serve for centuries to come.